Hello everyone, Cortney here from How to Loom Your Dragon. Welcome to part 2 of the Poodle tutorial. Congratulations if you've completed part 1. You have worked very hard so far. This is what you should have. You should have the headpiece and the collar and the bow on the collar, or the 2 bows on the ears already if you're doing a girl. You should have all 4 of your leg poofs, all 4 of your feet, and then your 2 little poofs that are going to go on the back. Now, in this portion of the video, we are going to be completing the most grueling part of the entire project. I was going to save it for last, but I think we should get it out of the way now. That way, when we're done with the poodle's body, we can just attach it. So we are going to be doing first the tail poof, which is actually not that difficult, and then we will be doing the main poof around the body. And that is the most grueling part of this project. That is the big poof that goes around the whole body at the end. You already did the 4 poofs around the legs and you know how long that took, so you can imagine this one's going to take a long time, so this video is going to be a long one, okay? Alright, so we're going to begin with the tail poof. So let's put all these body parts aside. So grab your loom. Alright, so we're using our poof color here if you're doing 2 separate colors. And you're just going to follow me. We are making the poofs again, wrapping 2 bands around twice, grabbing 2 other bands, pulling them on. We're going to put those right here. Okay, we're going to continue doing that. You are going to understand by the end of this video just how challenging the adult poodle was once we've made all the poofs. But it's good to get them out of the way now, that way, you know, later we just have to attach them. Okay. Alright, so I went down 5 times on the side there. My hands are a little bit shaky, probably because I just had coffee. So hopefully it won't make me go super slow. Okay, I'm going to wrap final band around the end here, creating 4 loops. Okay, let's do a horizontal, so 2 at a time. Just putting them across. Okay, I'm going to make another one just like this right next to it. Okay, the tail we are doing in 2 parts. Okay, so we're going to put another poof thingy right over here. Okay, so I just capped it off like I did on the other one. I'm going to put my horizontal bands on. Okay. So now I'm going to dig under the cap band here, grabbing the top 2 bands, flipping them up, and I'm going to go all the way up this column here, okay? Okay, and I'm going to grab the next 2 in line, flip those over, and move up. And then I'm going to loop this guy over. Okay, and now these. Okay, so they're all looped around this final peg here. Take 2 bands, of your poof color. Go all the way down, pull them through all the loops. Okay, make sure they're through all of them. And you're going to tie a slip knot with those 2 bands. Okay? And then you can pull off this first poof. Okay. You know what I just realized? We actually don't need the cap band on this one, I just remembered. So pull that cap band off because we actually don't need it. Alright. I'm going to hold my poof upside down so the poofy part is facing down. Okay? And I'm going to stick my hook through the 4 loops, the capping band at the end here, okay? I'm going to wrap it right around the bottom peg here. Okay? Once I've done that, I'm going to dig down and loop those first 2 bands, which are these, okay? I'm going to loop all the way up. Okay, now I'm going to loop the next 2, which are these 2. Now if that comes off, just put it back on because we want that to stay on for now. Okay, and then just do the last 2. So we all looped all 3 of these through that cap band on this poof, okay? Then I'm going to lift the poof up slightly off that peg. And now this is very important because we're going to do this probably several times during this video or during this tutorial. Here we have the sets of bands on the sides, okay? We're going to be focusing on those. So we're going to go through the first set of loops here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab from the side, I'm going to grab those 2 bands of that first set of loops like that. See that? Flip your poof so it's right side up and wrap them around that next peg, okay? Once I've wrapped them, I'm going to dig down and loop up. Okay, it's important to know how to do this because we're going to do this when we do the legs too. So same thing on the other side. This first set of loops on the side here, go through them, open up the hole, and wrap them around the peg. Just like that. Okay, then we're going to loop up. Okay, now we're going to go through the loops in the next set. So, open up the next set. Make sure you don't miss any sets, okay? You're going in order. You're not just going through any set of loops, you're going through each one in order. So now I'm going to go through these, open it up, wrap, and loop. Whoops. Okay. I'm just going to continue to do this. You can go nice and slow if you have to. Whoops. See, even I have trouble sometimes. Whoops. Sometimes it's hard to tell because the curly part is on the poof and then it's hard to tell. Okay. Now, as it gets tighter up here and more difficult, we can lift up a little bit from the bottom. Okay, but you don't want to lift up too much. So I lifted up a little bit. So now I have more room and it's not as stretched out. So now I can go through the next set of loops. Wrap those around, loop up. Same thing on this side. Through the loops. Wrap around, loop up. Through the loops, wrap around, loop up. Okay, we can lift up a little bit here. Just a little bit. Okay. And now we're going to attach one more here and one more here. Okay. So let's see. This looks like the next set here. So go through there. Okay. Wrap around. Loop over. And then on the opposite side. It's a little bit tricky. Loop over. We're not attaching anything to this peg. We're just going to tie another slip knot with 2 more bands. Okay. So make sure you go through all those bands, tie your slip knot around all of them. And then carefully pull off the poof, okay? So this is going to be your tail poof, the part where you have the slip knot bands. There should be a little hole that you can kind of stretch open. So, okay, see that little hole in there? That's where we're going to stick the tail into to put the poof on the tail. Alright, so you got this tail poof. Now we're going to be doing the main body poof. Okay? So, we're going to cover up this entire loom almost, 8 rows of it, okay, with poofs. So if you want to put on some music here, you can, because this is going to take a while to do, and there's going to be mostly silence as I do this. So feel free to put on some background music or something, or a movie or something, because you might get really bored as you're doing this part. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a poof going. The poof bands, I'm going to make them go all the way across to 8 pegs. I'm not going to do the last one. 8 pegs. Go all the way down each row and then across the bottom. Okay? It's going to take a little while, so just feel free to put something on in the background so you're not bored to tears as you do this. bottom. Okay, so it should look like this, okay? You have 8 out of the 9 rows covered. You started across, you went down every one, and then you went across the bottom. Okay, I'm going to cap off the corner here. Okay, so I'm wrapping it around, creating 4 loops. Okay, now we're going to do our horizontal bands. So I'm taking 2 at a time. Here, here, and here, and then I'm going to take, I dropped one in here, a single band, double loop it and put it there. Another one double looped is going to go here. Okay. Then we're going to continue, so 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, double loop single here, another double loop single here. Okay, 2 at a time now. Two, 2, try to keep it on the screen. 2, double looped single here, double looped single here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, double loop single here, double loop single here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, double looped here, double looped here, 2, 2, 2. Okay, then 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, double looped here. Okay, so we put all the horizontal bands on. Now, if you're doing a poof that is a different color from the body, you're going to take your body color, not your poof color, single bands of your body color. Okay, push all these down at the bottom here, and then you're going to put single bands of your body color along the bottom on each peg. Okay, including this one. Okay, so I put a band on each of the bottom pegs of my body color. And then I'm going to take a poof color, okay? Poof color band, and put it right on top of this one. So you should have 2 bands on this peg. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to dig down under the cap band, grab those 2 horizontal bands, loom over onto the next loose band. So you want those loose bands to stay on, but you want to loom as if they're not there, okay? That's what we're doing. We're just going to loom across the bottom. And we're also going to put a poof color band, poof color, right there. Okay, so you should also have 2 bands on this last peg here. Alright, okay, now we're going to put our poof color, put 1 on each peg, going all the way up this column here. Okay, if you have to push the bands down so that loose band stays on, you can do that. And here you want to put a poof color and a body color as well. Okay, so 1 of each. Then we're going to loop up. This entire column. Okay, don't let those loose bands fall off. They're very important. Just like that, okay? Now you're going to take body color bands. You're going to put 1 on each of the pegs at the top, okay, of your body color. Okay, the same color you put at the bottom. Okay, we're just not going to put 1 up here, alright? Once we've done that, we can loop up this second column. And we're going to loop right onto that band, okay? So go right over that loose band there. I'm going to do that on each column. Just don't do the last one yet, because the last column, because we have to put some loose bands on there as well. Okay, so here we're going to do our poof color, okay? So poof color, you're going to put all the way up this column. except for the last peg at the top. Okay, the top corner one we're not going to put the loose bands on. Okay, so I'm going to loop up this last set here, and then we have to go across the top. Okay, so we're going to start over here, loop over, dig down, find the 2 bands at the bottom, loop over, dig down, find the 2 bands at the bottom, loop over, all the way across. Oops. Don't miss any bands. Hopefully you got them all. Okay, so once we loop to the corner, we're just going to take, you can take one of your body color and one of your poof color, okay, so one of each. And we're going to do a slip knot here at the corner. Okay, slip knot. Okay, with those 2 bands, then we can take off this. Now, this is only the first part of the large poof. We have to do 2 more parts. Okay, yes, I know it's grueling. Can you imagine how long the large poof took on the big poodle? It was about 5 times the work of this one, at least. No, more like 15 times. No, it was 5 times. 5 times the amount of work of this poodle. Okay, but still, that's a lot of work. It looks like a little woolly scarf, kind of. But it's not. You don't want to yank this off the loom either. You want to be careful when you take it off. I know this girl who just yanks her creations off, like, and bands all get all stretched out, and I'm like, don't do that, you're ruining it. So you really do want to be careful when you take it off. You don't want to stretch out the bands too much. Okay, so after all that work, we have this tiny little blanket-looking thing, okay? This is only part 1. So once we pull it off, what I'm just going to do for now is I'm just going to pull all those loose bands outward, okay? So they're all out at the edge. None of them are hiding. Okay. Should be one in here, but there it is. Okay. Make sure they're not hiding. Okay, this is the first part of your large poof. Ha ha. Okay, now the second part. So, you have to watch me because at a certain point during this we're going to be making a little hole for the arm to go through. Alright, so just follow me. It's mostly the same thing that we just did, but now we are covering all 9 columns. Okay, this is the second of 3 parts. Okay, so like we did before, we're just going all the way across the top. Okay, so I'm going to go completely down the first two columns, right? You can play some music during this portion as well. Watch a movie. Just make sure you're paying attention to what I'm doing, because it is slightly different than what we just did. Okay, this third column, I'm only going to go down twice. Okay? Just go down 2 times, and then you're going to move on to the fourth column. Okay? And just carry on going completely down the rest of the columns. Okay, so once you've filled in the rest of the columns, we're going to do another poofy thing on our hook, and we are going to just put it across these two pegs. Okay, go right between those two. I'm going to do it again between the other two. Okay, I'm going to make another one on my hook. I'm going to count down 4 spaces. So here's 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space. I want to put it on right on the 5th one here, so between these two. Okay, so you should have 3 pegs in the middle that are untouched. Okay, let's do another one on the other side here. Alright, there, see, I got my 3 untouched pegs, and now I'm just going to continue going down the second, or this 3rd column. Sorry if I said, I think I said second column before, but you can tell it's the 3rd. Okay, and then like I did before, I'm going to go across the bottom as well. Okay, then you're going to cap off the end, the corner here. Okay, now let's put our horizontal bands on. Can't forget that, so 2 at a time. Just all the way across there. And I'm going to put double looped single bands down between these 2 columns. Okay, I'm going to do another double looped single right here, and now I'm going to do the rest 2 at a time. Okay, I'm going to take 2 across here and across here, and I'm going to double loop 1 across here. Sorry, we're going to double loop another one here, and take 2 at a time. Okay, 2 here, and a double looped here, and a double looped here, and then 2 and 2. Alright, the rest is 2. Okay, so just doing 2 across every 3 pegs. Okay, now if you're doing a 2-colored poodle, you're going to take your body color, okay, and just like we did before, you're going to put 1 on each peg along the bottom, okay, so body color bands. Okay, just like that. Alright, now we're going to loom that part, so go under the capping band, grab the top 2 bands, loop over, dig down, grabbing these 2, looping them over, dig down again, grab these 2, okay. Now I'm going to loop all the way up this one. We're not going to put loose bands along this side because we put them on the other one already. Okay, for this. You'll see what I mean when we attach it. Okay, so we're just looping up this one. Okay, we looped up. Now you're going to take your poof color and you're going to put one, I should put one here too. We'll just lay one here. I mean, we should have done it while it was unlooped, but it doesn't matter that much. Alright, we're just going to put one along every peg on this side. Okay, your poof color. Okay, and now we're just going to loop up. Make sure the bands don't fall off. That one at the bottom might lift up. That's not a big deal. What happened? Here we go. Sorry about that. Alright, so just continuing to loop up. Okay, why are you doing this? Okay, here, before we loop up this peg, you're going to take your body color, okay? Same color you used at the bottom, you're going to use at the top here. So you're going to put one on that peg. Let's loop that. So body color there, loop that up. Now we're going to put one along the top, your body color, okay? So we're putting loose bands along all edges except this side. Okay, and just not that corner peg either, okay? So same thing we did before, we're looping up. Okay, now, once we've done those 5 columns, we have to go to this one. Alright, so we're going to skip the next one and go to this one here. The third one from the end. Okay, the one where the hole is. Alright, so I'm looping up to here, then I'm going to go down here, grab the top 2 bands, loop them over to the side, and then the other 2, loop those over to the side. Okay, and now I'm going to go up this column here. Okay, dig down, grabbing you're grabbing these 2 bands now, okay? So you're grabbing the 2 to loop to the middle, like that. Okay? And then I'm just going to go the rest of the way up here. Okay, now we're going to go to this column, okay? Go up this column. Okay, pull back and loop the top 2 over to the middle. Finish looping up this column. Okay, and then we're going to dig all the way down here and grab the 2 bands at the bottom here. Loop those up and then do the final one here. Okay, so I looped everything except this top row. Now we do not forget to do this top row. You'll be really sad. Okay, and then like we did before, we're just going to take 2 bands and tie off the corner. Alright, this is part 2 out of 3. Once we take it off, we just have one part left, which is exactly the same as this one. It's just opposite. Alright. Or almost exactly the same. You'll see. It's almost exactly the same. By the way, the 2 bands up here, you can do 1 poof and 1 body color. The tying off band, I forgot to tell you what color to use for that. You could use a poof color and a body color, or just body color. Doesn't matter. Now as you pull this off, there should be a hole in it, which is where the leg is going to go through. Okay, and like we did before, see you have your little hole. Okay, now we're just going to pull the loose bands outward. Okay, just like that. Alright, we're going to lay that next to the other part of the poof. We'll attach it after, okay, after we finish the final part. Okay. Alright, so essentially we're doing exactly the same thing. Alright, so just follow me. Okay, I'm actually going to start on this side this time. Not that it matters, but for your sake. Because we have to do the arm, or the hole on the other side this time, so. Or on this side. Okay, the third column, again, we are only going down twice. Okay. and we can move on to the fourth column. Don't panic if my loom goes off the screen. We're just doing the same exact thing we were doing before, filling the entire thing. So just don't freak out if it goes off the screen. I will explain if I end up doing anything different. Okay. Alright, we're going to go back to the third column, taking our bands. We're again going across the top here and on the other side as well. Okay, we'll leave the 3 pegs in the middle untouched, and we're going to go here. And here. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Now we're just going down. I don't know what I'm doing. Now I do know. I'm just frazzled because I've been working on this for so long. Okay, now we're going to go across the bottom. Okay, let's cap off our end. We're getting there. We're almost done with the large poof, so keep your head up. Okay. Again, 2 bands at a time, going across. Okay, we're going to double loop them and put them on this side of the hole, just like we did before. And now we're going to take 2 across like this, 2 at a time, double loop one here, and double loop the next one here. Alright, take 2 at a time. This, double loop one here, double loop the next one here. And I'm moving quickly here. That's because I want this video to be under 2 hours, otherwise it won't brighten up and I can't edit it. Alright, okay, yeah. So 2 here, 2 here, double looped here. Alright, and now we're just going across with 2 at a time. Whoops. Alright, now you're going to grab your body color, like as we've been doing, and you're going to lay them on the bottom. One on each peg, all along the bottom. Oops. Okay, and like I did before, I am just going to, whoops, loop the two bands over onto the next peg. Okay, this is the same exact thing we did in the last two poof sections. Oops. Okay, and now I'm going to lay, figures, my thing just went blank. Hold up, guys. Sometimes my screen is still going, right? Okay, good. Alright, now we're going to lay the loose bands along the top as well. Okay, just not at the corner, because we're going to use the tying bands there. Okay, so just like that. And now we're just going to loop up. So let's loop up this column first, at the end. Okay, now we're going to skip this second one and move to the third. Go in here, grabbing the top two, looping them over, grabbing the next two, looping them over. Okay, now I'm going to go to back to the second column and loop up the second column. And here you want to grab the two horizontals and loop them over. Okay, and finish looping up. Okay, onto that band up there. Alright, let's do the other side. So, dig down in here. This is the fourth column. We're looping up. Fourth column. Figures I would grab the wrong bands there. Okay. Okay, here you want to grab the two horizontals, loop them over, finish looping up this column. Then you want to move to this one. Okay, loop up these two sets here. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Okay, and we're just going to loop all the way up the rest. We're almost done with the most grueling part of the entire project, guys. Yay! This is the most boring part. Repetition over and over. My arm is starting to ache because I'm going so fast. Okay, now we're going to go in here and we're going to loop over, same thing we did on the other two. Okay, and then you want to grab your two bands and tie off the ends. Alright, now we are lifting up this final portion of the poof, and once we do this we don't have to loom any more poofs. Hey, figured I'd get the poofs out of the way for you. Okay, put your loom aside. So once you've pulled it off, you want to pull all those loose bands to the outside like we did with the other ones. We only have them on the top and bottom on this piece. Okay, grab your other two large pieces, okay? The one without the hole, we're going to put that right in the middle, okay? Then we're going to take, okay, the poofy part is on the bottom, right? Okay. Take the one with the hole here, that's going to go on this side. Okay, you can see that, right? And this one is going to go on this side, okay? So the hole is toward the center, okay? Don't, make sure it's not like this. Okay, the hole should be close like that. Okay, we're going to stitch these together. So we have these loose bands here on the edge, the poof colored bands, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to go through the first vertical set on the end here on this side. So let's say this is the first one here. Okay, so I went through those loops on the first vertical set. I'm going to take the poof color of the tie-off band here. It could, unless you have two of the same color, it doesn't matter which one you grab. Pull it through, okay? It's on my hook right now. I'm going to push it down, and now I'm going to go through the next loop in line on the edge there and pull the next loose band through that. Okay. Alright. And then that second one is now on your hook. The first one is now wrapped around the second. Go to the next set of loops in line. Pull through the third loose band. Okay, that's now on your hook. Now we're going to the fourth set. I'm pulling the fourth loose band through and through that third band. Okay, so we're essentially stitching everything together at the same time here. This is my stomach attachment technique, simplified. Don't miss any. Alright, I'm at my last one here. So I'm just going to pull that one through, okay? So once you've reached the last one and you pulled it through and everything's stitched, right? You're going to take a C-clip, but what you're going to do is you're going to hold that loose end with your fingers and take your hook, go through any bands, go through like a bunch of bands, and pull that loose band through whatever bands you want. And then you're going to C-clip it so that it stays like that, okay? And we're going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side, okay? So I'm actually going to flip mine this way. Alright. I'm going to start down here. Okay, so grab the first set of horizontal loops there. And then you're going to grab your circle here. Okay. You have the two bands here at the top. I'm going to grab one of them, pull them through. Okay. Okay, make sure you grab the poof color if you're doing two separate colors. Same thing, go through the next one. Grab the next band in line, pull it through, reclaim the end, through the next one, pull that one through. Okay, so you're just pulling it through all of the bands, the loops as well as make sure you go in order and take your time if you've never done this before. Okay, so once I've reached, I'm at the last, I pulled it through the last set here on this side. So again, I'm going to hold that loose end with my fingers, take my hook, go through a bunch of bands there, pull that loose band through, and C-clip it, or S-clip it, doesn't matter, C-clip or S-clip. Ah, dropping everything. Okay, so there is your body poof, which we will be attaching to the body when we finish it, okay? So the loose bands at the top and bottom, we will be attaching those to the body, okay? So you should have, this is what you should have your head poof, your 4 leg poofs. Alright, you should have your 4 feet. You should have your two little poofs that are going to go on his back or her back. You should have your tail poof. You should have your collar and your bows, or your single bow or multi-bows, depending on if it's a boy or girl. Right? If it's a girl, the bows should already be on her ears. Okay? And then you have your big poof, which we will attach to the main body when we're done, okay? Alright everybody, well done if you've gotten this far. The rest of it isn't as brutal. Yay! Okay, so I will see you in part 3.